Hello everyone, welcome to Fintails Daily. Today is June 23, 2026, and it's been a busy day across the markets with major developments in technology, business, policy, and investing. Let's take a look at the stories making headlines and what they could mean for the investors. Before we move ahead, here is a quick snapshot of what we are covering in today's edition. On the enterprise and technology front, we will discuss Oracle's major workforce restructuring, Meta's decision to suspend its internal employee tracking system, and the latest developments around Apple's leadership succession plan. We also look at the growing excitement around Nothing's upcoming phone launch and a major political change in United Kingdom following Prime Minister Keir Starmer's resignation. In the Indian market segment, we will cover the sharp decline in Vedanta shares after a significant promoter stake sale. While Cipla stands out as one of the day's strongest performance on positive growth expectations. We will also review GSW infrastructure large fundraising initiative and investors reacted to it. Moving to the startup and technology space, we will examine InfoEdge rapidly growing investment portfolio and the strong rally in blue cloud software shares, which has been driven largely by the market speculation. Finally, we will touch on consumer demand trends, including Voltas crossing the 10 lakh air conditioner sales mark and the positive impact this has had on the supplier companies such as the Fennec Durable. These stories highlight the key developments shaping business, technology, investing, and consumer markets today. So let's begin with Oracle. The company has announced a major restructuring that will impact around 21,000 employees or roughly 13% of its global workforce. This move is aiming at freeing up the resources for a significant investment in cloud infrastructure and automation, with nearly around $70 billion earmarked for these initiatives. While management see this for a long-term growth strategy, investors remain cautious and then the stock continues to trade near recent low point. Next story is from the Global Tech. The Oracle announcements come at a time when the sentiment across the technology sector remains under pressure. This has a huge impact on the Nasdaq futures, moved lower the point, weighed down in a part by a decline in Alphabet shares and rising bond yields. Adding to those concerns, the Five Eyes Intelligence Alliance has warned that the advanced cyber threats could emerge much sooner than are previously expected, putting cybersecurity firmly back in focus. And those concerns are already playing out in the corporate world. Reports suggest a cyber incident at Tata Electronics may have exposed sensitive design information linked to Apple and Tesla projects. Meanwhile, Meta has suspended an internal employee monitoring initiative after details of the program were leaked, raising fresh questions around privacy and data governance. Staying with the technology sector, attention is increasingly turned to Apple's leadership pipeline. John Prentice is widely seen as a leading candidate to eventually succeed Tim Cook. If the debt transition take place, one of his key priorities will likely to rebuilding Apple design organization following several years of notable departures and ensuring that company maintain its reputation for product innovation. Now, next move to the Indian market. Yes, India's core sector growth slowed down to 0.5% in May, the weakest pace in 7 months. Lower output from coal and refinery segments weighed on the overall numbers. However, falling global crude prices could offer some relief, with analysts expecting lower input costs to support profitability for domestic oil marketing companies. On the market front, it was a day of contrasting performance. Vedanta share came under pressure following a large promoter block deal of that renewed concerns around debt levels. In contrast, Cipla emerged as one of the strongest gainers on the index today, supported by positive expectations surrounding upcoming opportunities in the US market. Despite ongoing market volatility, fundraising activity continues to remain robust. GSW Infrastructure has launched a 7,500 crore qualified institutional placement to support expansion plans and strengthen its balance sheet. Meanwhile, Advit Jewels received strong investor interest on the opening day of its public issue, reflecting continued appetite for new listings. Let's move to the startup ecosystem. Yes, InfoEdge reported that the value of its technology focused investment portfolio has more than the doubled, crossing 1,200 crores over 50 companies. At the same time, Blue Cloud Softtek witnessed a sharp rally around speculation and a potential strategic partnership. Analyst, however, says continue to advise caution and given the absence of any confirmed developments in this. Let's move back to the global stories once again, as this is one of the biggest updates today from Meta. Meta is strengthening its focus on India, appointing Cred's founder, Mr. Kunal Shah, to play a major role in WhatsApp global strategy. Separately, India's cybercrime agency has issued a warning about a growing number of so-called boss scam incidents where fraudsters impersonate senior executives through voice cloning technology to initiate unauthorized fund transfers. Now let's move to the next story. A couple of the important updates from before we wrap up today. West Bengal has presented its latest state budget, including measures aimed at welfare spending and plans to support the rival of the Calcutta Stock Exchange. Meanwhile, LPG consumers have until June 30, 2026 to complete their eKYC requirements, with service disruptions possible for unverified connections. Now, we wrap up today with that today's developments is clear. Companies are continuing to redirect capital toward technology, operational efficiency, and security, even as our economic and market conditions remain challenging. At the same time, strong participation in fundraising activities suggests investors' confidence has not disappeared. That's all for today's edition of Fintel's Daily. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you in the next update.